In rural areas, a son is equivalent to inheriting the throne. When my mother was pregnant with me, the village said that it must be a son, and the whole family was looking forward to the moment I was born. At that moment, the whole family changed her face. Where is my uncle? Union Bobo brings you the full text to the end. The wonderful story is waiting for you. Sister-in-law, the text began. At the moment I was born, the whole family changed her face, and my grandmother left the 30 eggs left to my biological mother. The biological father hugged me out, and threw me into the ravine to feed wild dogs. As a result, he hit the village party secretary. The old branch said that he only said that the little girl did not eat much. She could help her home for a few years. The uncle would help return the confiscated tables and chairs. The biological father hugged me back. 2 months later, the biological mother was pregnant again, and they hid again to give birth to their sons. I was fed by a 6-year-old sister with a meal without a meal. Later, my elder sister also joked. I said that when I was a kid, I was terrible. I could eat half a bowl of rice in 6 months. Do I want to be amazing? I have no choice. The biological mother finally gave birth to a younger brother, inherited the throne, and no longer had to hide in Tibet. He walked with the wind and had a weight. Every day, the grandmother hugged his younger brother to the village, and joked that those daughter-in-law who had no son. Most of the time, I was tied to the bed with a rope. It can be regarded as a big life. When I was 5 years old, I should go to school. At that time, 9 years of compulsory education had been popularized. At that time, I had a serious illness, repeatedly fever, cough all night, and my brother also cough. My mother took us to see the barefoot doctor. The doctor said that I might be a lung infection. I have to go to the hospital in the county to see at least 300 yuan, and it is best to be separated from the family. Essence when I went back, the sky was almost dark. The biological mother walked fast holding my brother. I couldn't breathe. No matter how hard, I couldn't catch up with him. I shouted again after another, but he didn't return. It was really cold that day. My hands and feet were cold, my stomach was empty, and I fainted after a while. When I woke up again, I was lying on a soft bed. Several boys who were older and a few years were around the bed and looked at me like a puppy. Seeing that I woke up, they looked up. Soon, a fat woman came in with hot porridge, and there was a golden egg. After I gobbled, I was going to send me back. The mountain is so big, and I know who is. She walked forward with me, and a few boys cried my sister, and she didn't stop. It was snowing halfway, and the biggest brother took off his gloves and put it on. At the door of the house, I heard that the elder sister was asking the 3 sisters. Why didn't I come back last night? The biological mother was feeding her younger brother to eat, and impatiently said that it was better to die outside and saved back to infect your brother. I coughed violently, and the biological mother opened the door. When I saw my disappointment, my biological father scolded and asked me why I hadn't died yet. After Lu Ye's handover, I took a few brothers to leave, and the snow was getting bigger and bigger. I stood in the yard and looked at their back. Brother gave me gloves, but I was still very cold. My biological father asked me to feed the pig. I didn't move it for a long time. He took a broom and hit me. At this time, Lu Ye suddenly ran back and stopped him. He stared at me and sighed deeply. Either 3 sisters you gave me, my family lacks a daughter. Mom spent $50. Under the testimony of the village secretary and several elders in the village, I became his daughter. When I left, the biological mother also ridiculed, saying that I was a sick seedling, a broom star. You take it away, but don't raise it for a while and come back. At that time, we don't want money and will not retreat. Ms. Lu gave me the 3rd brother's clothes and bought me thick socks and thick shoes. I can eat a stewed egg every day. When I go to bed at night, she hugs me, and she stares softly. In the middle of the night, I coughing, and she would gently help me shoot back. The 3 brothers are also very good. Any delicious and fun will let me. Such a day is so good. I often dare not believe it and feel like I am dreaming. The weather is getting colder, and after a young age, my father is back. He worked on the construction site, and he would only come back when he was busy at the new year. He looked tall and unsmiling. When his mother pushed me out, he frowned tightly, and he didn't like me. In the evening, I pretended to fall asleep with my eyes closed. I heard my dad say that the conditions at home are like that. Where can I raise a child? You are just doing it. He didn't eat much. He didn't have many problems. It was because you had to care about him for a lifetime. You mother lowered. I have no money in my hand, you have money there. I have to take him to the hospital tomorrow, don't cough people. Dad often sighs, and the next is that Dad didn't go. He was called by the contractor to help him repair the roof. Dad didn't want to be a free labor. The packet head still owes the salary of Dad. He thought about repairing the roof. By the way, take the money back. At that time, the wages of migrant workers were very common. Sometimes hard work for a year. In the end, I can't get the money I deserve. Therefore, the number of people who go out to work has also decreased. My mother bought me a bunch of rock sugar gourds. None of the three brothers, I have never seen such a lively. A pair of eyes are not enough. Just then, I saw a little boy. On the street. Everyone is happy. Only he was held by a pair of middle-aged men and women. Tears. Struggle. His mouth is open. But like a fish that is short of water, you can't make a sound. I dragged my mother's sleeve. Lu Yi. You see, that brother is so weird. Mom glanced at. Where is strange? He wore a beautiful clothes. I didn't wear shoes. Not only that. One feet still grind the blood on the ground. Mom frowned. Staring at those people not let go. The pair of middle-aged men and women are panicked. Just dragging the little boy and going to the tricycle. Mom pulled us a few and rushed over. She has always been an enthusiastic contestant. Middle-aged men and women. Fuck foreign accent to say. The little boy is their son. If my mother, don't gossip. But my mother asked the little boy. He shook his head desperately while crying. I soon surrounded a large wave of people who watched the lively people. Mother said. Look at their ID cards, go to the police station to confront. The pair of men and women panicked. During the confusion, they dropped their children. Riding a tricycle and running. Mom leads us a series of children to the police station. Just go to the door. The fatness in Murakami came in a hurry. You still have the matter of empty tube others. Your brother fell off the roof. Hurry up and see. Mom panicked. He is a substitute teacher. Not a few money a month. The main economic source in Mom is father. If Dad has a 3 long and 2 shorts. I don't know how to live in the future. 3 brothers were frightened with me. But my mother calmed down quickly. She went to the police station to report the case first. Then let the 11-year-old brother take us a few home. She goes directly to Dad. When I leave. She patted her elder brother's shoulder. Now you are brother. Brothers and sisters depend on you. Mom believes you can do well. The snow was very big that day. Big brother takes us 4 steps step back to walk back. Everyone can't laugh. The sugar gourd in my hand is wrapped in snowflakes. I licked a bite, so bitter. Brother cooked porridge. But we have no stomach. Only little Dumb is hungry. Drink a large bowl. Dinner. Grandma next door came to sleep with our children. He sighed at our head and couldn't stop. Breeze in the night. I didn't sleep much all night. Sky. Mom is back. Her eyes are red. Looks tired. Put the old hens in the bowls and bacon hanging on the wall. All of these are installed. Wearing rain boots to borrow money on the family. Dad's situation is very serious. The doctor said to prepare 10,000 yuan first. Your economic conditions then. 10,000 yuan is a huge sum. Dad does it only $15 a day on the construction site. The contractor said that he was stepping on the ladder himself by himself. I only want to pay the medical expenses of 200 yuan. Mother-in-law. My dad is unconscious. I don't even want to give it even the salary I owed before. Said the money for a long time to settle it to my dad. Mom borrowed all over. The whole village will make up more than $1,000. She takes the family valuable things. Hurry to go to the county. I wrap the more than a dozen eggs in the kitchen. Catch on his mother. This can also sell money. This is the first time I have called his mother. Children are always sensitive. God knows how scared I was at that time. Mom is red and eye-catching. Touch my head. Stay for you to eat, your life. You will always be the daughter of Mom and Dad. She told the elder brother to take good care of me and Xiao Dum. Let's not worry about Dad's business. She will handle. The snow is so big, the mother's back is blurred. There is no water at home in the house. Brother goes to the pond to pick water. I also follow. As a result, I met a few uncle. The biological mother is also among them. Someone watched me sigh. It is said that if something goes wrong with the Wang family, I am afraid that I will not be able to raise me in the future. Maybe you still have to send it back. The biological mother took a ruthless sip. He is a broom star. Wang Data was good. He fell down the roof as soon as he went. This broom star returns to my house again. Don't harm it anymore. I am obediently standing. Fit as soon as possible to die early. Brother pulls my fingers to sound. Obviously my sister. With my meals, I won't be hungry. He won't send her back. My eyes are red and red. The biological mother turned her eyes. You can be a little fart, you can't do the Lord. Brother is so angry that his face is red. At this moment Grandma Wang sighed. A CD. You say 2 less words. Obviously it was climbed out of your stomach. You don't look forward to her a little better. Others also attached to Harmony. Biological mother's face ugly. Yin and yang weird. How can I not look forward to him? Looking forward to him. But he didn't have this life. Noon that day. I only eaten eggs. Grandma next door came to sleep with us. I had a nightmare and dreamed that I was sent back to my biological mother again. They closed me with an iron cage and pumped me with a whip. I was awakened alive. Hearing the knocking of the door outside, and the eager voice of the village secretary, it would not be an accident. The elder brother also woke up and hurried to open the door. It turned out that the parents of Xiaomi came here. They looked very expensive clothes and shoes at first glance. After seeing the little Dumb sleeping, the middle-aged woman rushed up and hugged her crying. Little Dumb worked hard for a long time and called a mother. Middle-aged women cried even more. Little Dumb is more than painting, and the middle-aged couple probably understands the matter. The woman shed tears holding the little Dumb, holding my hand again, thanks and thanks. He asked me, Min, what do you want, Ante by you? I whispered, I just want Dad to be safe. The village secretary sighed, saying that the situation of parents, their husbands and wives are good at heart. Min is adopted, but unfortunately good people can't help it. The middle-aged man, who hasn't spoken much, has a good report. He should have a good report. He touched my head, and your dad will be fine. They live at home at night. Early the next morning, Uncle Joe and Aunt Lou drove us to the county. That was the first time I took a sedan. At that time, the overloaded was not as strict as it is now. A few of our children squeezed into a ball in the back, and it was anxious and embarrassed. When I arrived at the hospital, I saw that my mother was begging the doctor to perform surgery for her father, but the money was not enough, and the doctor couldn't help it. Uncle Joe didn't say much, and immediately paid his dad's surgical fee. The hospital leader came out and arranged the best ward for his father. In the afternoon, a man with a beer belly and holding a leather bag brought his head and nodded his head to Uncle Joe. He came to Director Joe, and the contractor returned all the wages owed to his father. He also said that he would be responsible for his dad's surgical fee. Just like dreaming, our whole family is very stunned. My mother thanked Aunt Lou for holding her hand. If it wasn't for you, she was taken away by the traffickers. If he was gone, what would it be interesting in my life? He said with red eyes, and the 2 women cried tears. I slowly heard that Uncle Joe and Aunt Lou ate the big characters in the province. Uncle Joe and Aunt Lou were very busy with work. They did not give birth to a stick until they were in their 30s. They were usually bandwriting. This time, the nanny did not follow. As a result, a negligent rolling stick was taken away by a trafficker when he was shopping. Thanks to her mother's enthusiasm, not only keeps the stick, but also the fault of the yin and yang has cured the problem that he did not speak before. Dad came out of the operating room, and the doctor announced that his legs were kept. I was surprised that today is the 30th year. In this year's New Year's Eve dinner, we eat the hotel seats booked by Uncle Joe. It turns out that there are many foods that are hundreds of times more delicious than braised meat in this world. After dinner, Uncle Joe was leaving, and he tightly pulled my hand and asked me to go with him. Aunt Lou discussed with her mother for a while, squatting down and asking me if I would like to go with them. In the future, I could be with the rolling stick every day, and I could eat braised pork every day. I looked at my mother in panic. Did my mother think that my broom star? My mother touched my head with red eyes. I held his hand tightly and shook my head hard. Aunt Lou hugged me, and my son was not suspected of being ugly. I had a good chance to meet every day, and we would have the opportunity to meet. Watching them leave, I found out that Aunt Lou just stuffed a thick money in my pocket while hugging me. Dad's legs were delayed. Even if it was the best doctor, there was still sequelae for surgery, and he would limped. However, it was a miracle that he could keep his legs at the time. How many people were so lame and died because they had no money to treat the disease? Joe's mother said that if I hadn't pointed out the truth of the rolling stick, maybe this family would be scattered. Even Dad said that I am his blessing. Everyone praises me, only the biological father and mother don't take it for granted. If it weren't for him, maybe Wang Datu would not fall down the beam. They still don't like me, but this is not important. On the 10th day of the first month, Uncle Joe and Lou drove a car with a roller to visit the new year. They took high-end gifts such as milk, juice, and orange juice from the car, and also bought us a few new clothes. New Year's Eve is not the main purpose. Aunt Lou said that he could arrange for his father to go to the factory for security guards. The temporary worker was wrapped in a meal of 500 yuan a month, which was much easier than at the construction site. Ask him not to go. As for my mother, you can also go to a new school to apply for a class teacher in the provincial capital. As for the 4 brothers and sisters, she can help arrange for work. They were afraid of bothering them, but Aunt Lou said that this is a trivial matter. She just hopes that some of our brothers and sisters can play with rolling in the future. Lou is embarrassed. The biological mother laughed at her face. I have no other requirements. You can get my son to study in the city. Just find a job for the 2 iron rice bowls for our husband and wife. I heard that you are a great mother. This should be something you say. Everyone in the village watched this good show. Louis looked at me. My strength of my whole body. Pointing at your parents. He word by word. They are my parents. Joe Moo's face changed greatly. Cursing. The biological father lifts his arm and wants to throw my ear seeds. At this time, Dad stepped forward and pushed him hard. My daughter can't get you to fight. After talking, he hugged me up and handed it to my mother. But Minming Station is far away. Dad is usually taciturn. Pick up a hoe directly from the corner of the corner. Since Minming recognizes me, then you want to take her away. Both sides chicken flying dog jump. At this time, Uncle Laoji came out to reprimand his parents. At that time to give it clear to the Wang family. You are collecting money. So many people look at it. There is no reason to go back. The folks also attached. Explain. They can't do that. The mother's face can't be hung up. Loud. Then he climbed out of my belly. Only nails. Louis smiled. Minming really helps me get a stick. But more, Sister Lu sees righteousness. We are nice to Minmin. It also depends on Sister Lu. You will be wrong. He picked up the box wheat milk gold for the biological mother. Take it back for the children to drink. Don't make noisy Chinese New Year. We are also unusual. People are not so big. Arrange the biological parents who have arranged that the living that did not get what they want. Sean leave me. Feeling trouble. Beg he shed him with tears. Louis touched my head. Good kid, not cry. What you just did well. My parents spent a few days to sort out the family. 15. Our whole family will sit on Louis Pai to pick up our car. Go to the provincial capital. Dad is tall. Honest and honest. Captain Security is very satisfied with him. Mom used to be in the village. You can teach Chinese in the 1st grade to the 6th grade. Finally passed the interview. Louis rented a house near their house. It's just to facilitate the rolling and often come to us to play. I went to the same elementary school with the rolling. All preschool. He is very smart. But because it is unfavorable. Frequent exclusion. I am also afraid of these people in the city. But I know I must protect him. So every time someone bullies him, I will keep it in front of him. There are many children in our family. I always love to speak up again. He gradually spoke. Wait until the 3rd grade. He returns to get the first question of the grade. And every time he teaches me to write homework. I still scolded me fool. I am really not smart. The grades are always unable to go down. But a few brothers are amazing. Almost all grades. Zhang Jimin's mother is very busy. He knows that this job is from the back door. Try to teach students. Dare not slack. There will be a tuition class on the weekend. Counseling children to subsidize home use. Every time they take the exam. The language is among the best in Yuri. All the students like him. Wait until his students graduated with excellent grades. Mom also turned into a formal teacher through the test assessment. That day, he took the whole family to eat a big meal. I cried secretly at night. Dad is never lazy. Other security night shifts are always sleeping. Only he touched his eyes and patrolled all night. He is older. Always help others. At that time, one day of my first day, he also softened and helped people top night shifts. I often borrow 2 thieves. Another security guard saw the other party dare not step forward with a knife. But Dad limped to death, followed by the thief, and did not let it go. Later, the police came over and grabbed the thief. I found the drawings from the thief's body. That's a very tight thing. If you lose it, something will happen. Recognize thief. Someone spent a lot of money to ask him to drag. This Louis I visited Dad. Tell Dad. I dare not die like this in the future is the first place. Dad's smile said. I introduced to the unit. Can't lose your face. And get salary. Naturally, I have to work hard. Lu Yisheng. I didn't speak for a long time. Leaders are here to condolence. It happened that the captain of the security was going to retire. Director of the factory said. Dad will be captain in the future. This is what he fights out of his life. Others are not unconvinced either. Also lucky. All right. In that year, there were no places in the factory. But he just stood up. Captain again had a special quota. I took the initiative to borrow a little money for our Louis. Coupled with the savings of parents before. Our family also lives in a 3-bedroom building. A parent. 3 brothers. Me. I didn't dare to think about it before I dreamed. You can still live in the upper room in this life. Have your own separate drawings. Everyone who goes back in the Chinese New Year, congratulations. We only have the biological mother secretly saying. Sooner or later you will marry. Even if you leave you a room. There is no portrait of your house. He looked at the new shoes on my feet. Ask you how big this shoe is. Xinbao is estimated to be able to wear this school bag and look good. Give your brother. It happens that your New Year's money has a lot of money, right? It's annoying to give your brother. I started from the age of 5. Only my brother has no brother anymore. Mom is about to be in the middle school entrance examination. My mother invited me tutoring. Roll. Counts at me as soon as I have time. But I am probably not the material of reading. Even the head suspended beam. Piercing. The grades have not improved. The night before the exam. My mother brought me hot milk. Just relax and take the test. Really can't. Mom takes you to study the health school. It's good to come out to be a nurse in the future. Have no pressure. End of the middle school entrance examination. Grandma is sick. Mom takes us home to visit. Grandma has 2 sons and 1 daughter. Grandson. Only my girl. Although not biological. But she is also very good to me. I washed his face and wiped his hands. He also found a cloth bag from the pillow. Give me pocket money. We arrived at home the next day. More than 200 pounds brought by the biological mother. The middle-aged fat man with a face has come to the door. That's the husband he looked for me. What is the use of girls to read so many books? And anyway, you can't get the exam anyway. Boss Wang's house opened a pig farm. Hundreds of pigs have been raised at home. The age is older than you. But it hurts people bigger. After your home passes. It's so good to be a boss directly. Boss. Look up and down. I'm very satisfied. He raised 2 fingers. Rough wealth. Bride price. I can produce 200,000. As long as you have a son. At that time, give 100,000 biological mothers. Drag my mother over. Low sound. I don't lose. You 200,000. I take 15. You take 50,000. You have no nourishment for this daughter. Mom almost fainted. Mimi is less than 16-year-old mother's endorsement. Just age is valuable. Wait until 20 and no one wants. Grandma do it directly from the bed. The war is trembling. I am a bad temper. Copy the hoe. The axe brother also started to copy the family. Deseo holds a hoe to hoe. Boss. There are a few smelly money. Take the mirror and look at your pig's head. I want to match me. Nian girl aunt cut vegetables in the kitchen. Holding a knife. Just rush to our biological mother and go up and down at home. A girl still can't turn you as cheap. This fat pig is so good. Marry yourself. I think your face can have a big butt and you can have 10 or 8 mothers. Just protect me. Mimi is my daughter. The Huku also falls at the Wang family. I will be responsible for her future. You'd better not have a crooked idea anymore. Boss Wang was frightened and half dead. The biological mother is still hard. What I say anyway, I can't get the test, I am going to marry. Who would also be willing to make such a high gift money or so on? Just then. Mom's Nokia thought. It was played by my class teacher. The results of the middle school entrance examination come out. I actually play. More than 50 points higher than usual. It is proper to get admitted to high school. Mom's excited tears came down. Straightly look at the mother-in-law. Who said that my Jiaminman can't get the test? My family is smart. Not only can he go to high school, I can go to college in the future. My brother-in-law is hard work. The chief mother and the boss Wang were driven away. At night. Mom pulls my hand. Sensitivity. It is difficult to be a woman as a woman. You must work hard. I went to a high school with the roller. But he is the first place. I am the last number. He is in the key class. I am in ordinary classes. He is on the first floor, I am on the 4th floor. But every day after school, he will wait for me on the 1st floor. He has a good grade. Handsome. Highly noticed. Makes everyone explore all kinds of inquiry about me. I have a lot of pressure. Can't help but roll on the way out of school. Let's go separately in the future. Why? They all say we are in early love. Will you write your homework? Hahita. Then you still have time to listen to these gossip. In short, he waited for me to teach the director to talk to him. He said lightly. He is like my sister. It is estimated that the director has observed for a while. We do have no sign of early love. The rolling results are not affected. Just let it go. But I have trouble. How many girls asked me to give me a love letter? After I became a postman a few times. Rolling sticks actually reported to my mother. After I hurt me, I can only refuse. This fat. I have offended a lot of people, my grades. Still not improved. Even my mother gave up. Only. Give me a lecture every day. Over time. He is too insisting. I'm embarrassed to put on. I can only do my best to learn. Try to keep the middle and downstream results. The days are soon when the senior high school starts to school. I roll around. Uncle Joe was locked up. Said to be investigated. Joey was also forced to take a few days. His hair is much white. I don't understand. Uncle Joe and Louie are both good people. Why is this like this? Mom tells me. The world of adults is not clear and wrong. Sometimes standing wrong team is also fatal. In fact, the relationship between parents and Uncle Joe over the years has not been much more. Mom used to say that the gentleman's friendship was as light as water. Uncle Joe and Louie are very good. We don't have to add icing on the cake. Today, Uncle Joe is difficult to be cold in court. Everyone can avoid it. But my mother took the bank card to find Louie. There are all our family savings in it. He closed the door like the two. I don't know what to say. When the door opened later, Louie's eyes are red. He returned the card to his mother. Don't blame me, the money I said can't be used now. It's better to accept it by yourself. If Lao Zhou and I have a 3 long and short roller stick. I hope you take care of my mother. Solemnly. You can rest assured. I must take him as my son. On the surface, it looks almost the same as before. But I know he is very bad. The monthly test actually fell out of the first 3 grades. I am in a hurry. Pull him to eat together. Self-study. Go to school. School. Weekend holiday is also entangled in him. The man on this day has a half-day vacation. I pulled him to the river to change the sky. The wind is very strong. Few people by the river I have blown up in my brain. I want to go back. I didn't expect that there was an old man who fell into the water not far ahead. The old man fluttered a few times. Seeing it is about to sink. I didn't care so much at the time. Take off the shoes and jump off the door of Hijia. Pond. I can swim at 3 years old. Later I arrived in the city. My mother saw that I liked and gave me a swimming class. But I have no experience after all. The old man at the moment of life and death hugged my neck tightly. I pour a lot of water. Be lucky. Find a long bamboo pole. Pull the two of us ashore. As soon as I go ashore. He scolded his head and covered. Are you crazy? What hero? I want to find a stick. You drown together. He is really fierce. I shivered with my arms. Roll. I'm so cold. His eyes are red. Take off my jacket and wrap it up, so scared. Don't you mess around after your life, okay? Ambulance is here. Pull me and my old man to the hospital. I have nothing to do. But I insisted on letting the doctor check for me. After a while, Mom and Louie have arrived. They were scared to death. Educate me. Let me not be so impulsive in the future. Just talk about. The ward door was knocked. A man in his 60s asked warmly. Is this Wang Miming's ward? Louie turned to meet the man. A little wrong. Respectfully say hello. Why is Secretary G? Secretary G is also very wrong. Eyes narrowed. You meet Wang Minming. Electric stone fireman. I think of who this man is. A few days ago. Have seen. He was still in a heavy face at the time. Say. Hope he is a good official. Will give my dad a fare. The secretary should be closely closed. Lua nod. Is a younger who knows. I glance at my mother. He gave me a positive look. I'm so delicately open. Goddamn. I am a younger who knows. Am I not your relative daughter? Louie. But soon I realized that I touched my head. You stupid child. Secretary G came to thank me. I shake my head. Actually, it was not the saved by me by myself. If it wasn't for the rolling brother at the time. I am going to drown with Grandpa. Thanks to his landlord on the shore. Brother rolling just can't swim. Otherwise, he must have laid the water. Secretary G affirmatively looked at the rolling. Xiao Lu. You have a good son. Louie smiled faintly. Secretary Mshad. Louie sent Gigi after leaving, returned to the ward after leaving. Sensitivity. Thank you just now. What do you think of? I glance at my mother. A little embarrassed. Mother said. If you have a chance, you must help you. And you are my good friend's rolling mother. Help you mean to help go up. So Secretary G is not so confused. Louie said he called the police. The police checked the loss of feet and falling into the water. Indeed, his father accidentally lost his feet and dropped water. And I just passed by just coincidence. In fact, this is not the first good thing I do for the first time with the rolling. Help Pharaoh cross the road. Sending a lost child to go home or something. We used to do it before. Maybe it's lucky. I have never encountered touching porcelain. Everyone will really thank us for about a month after the incident. Uncle Joe passed the investigation. I'm released. He really has no principle. Illegal and forgetful behavior. But his boss has a problem. Captive. A large number of people who hit the radish and brought out the mud fell down. Uncle Joe is going up. So in the end, he was not dismissed in the end. Instead, the Joe family started to become lively again. Mom is very happy. But he doesn't go to Louie very much. Just watch them live well. Care for someone. Not on the mouth. Let's remember in our hearts. But Louie doesn't think so. New Year's Eve. He asked his mother to take me to eat. At first my mother thought it was a family banquet. I didn't expect the place to introduce it before I knew it. The director of the education bureau in the district is also in. Das. Everyone is just eating and drinking. Nothing to say anything. When I leave. Mom told Louie. No need to do this. Louie patted my mother's hand. I know you are what you deserve. New Year's Eve. Mom was transferred. Key Elementary School to spend a young age. Secretary this day asked the driver to pick me up and go to the house for dinner. His house is not big. The furniture looks very low-key. Grandpa G took out a rusty iron box. Take out 2 red envelopes from it to teach the founding of the country. This is for your New Year's money to secretly collect the New Year's money. Don't let your mother see. Turn out to be. Grandpa G also has a pair of dragons and phoenix children after sending the secretary. But because of the accidental double falling water, he died. Now he has Alzheimer's. I thought I and the rolling was the dead children. The New Year's Dad's Factory's factory flash enterprise reform. Many employees are laid off. But Dad continues well. When his head of the security captain has become more people, more. The salary is also a bit. But it's not free to manage these. Because I'm going to take the college entrance examination soon. My shit score is crazy on the edge of the undergraduate. My parents are very nervous. I dare not breathe loudly at home. I'm afraid it will affect my learning. Rolling frowning like an old man. You can't take your question about your question. My elder brother is about to graduate. The second brother was admitted to a graduate student. Salary is also a big university. The three of them can be opened. Just read one if you can't get the exam. Anyway, there will be 3 of our brothers in the future. What is said is also rolled with rolling. I have 4 brothers. I'm afraid of. Although I think so. But a few days before the exam, I still used a few questions to hold the Buddha's feet temporarily. Seek psychological comfort. After the exam, my mother takes me back to burn paper for my ancestors. Thinking about my ancestors bless me for a good university. She is a materialist to do such a thing. As a result, the biological mother jokes. You should go to my graveyard to burn paper. That was his serious ancestor. My mother is actually about to move. Fortunately, I took the rural people. Gathering together at the new year is not a talk about work. Just talk about income. Talk about results. So I have the bottom. Everyone in the village knows. The eldest sister has married. Both children are 2. All daughters. There is still one in his stomach. He looked at me very enviously. It's still good for you. Even if you take a specialist. They are estimated to be for you to read it. I asked him why he had so much. He is taken for granted. Don't you have to have a son? I have been looking for acquaintances to take care of. This time is a son. I won't speak with a smile. Because I don't know what can I say. Waiting for the results. My parents can't sleep well every day. My mother squinted with the tablet and squinted. Through the comparison of various colleges and undergraduate schools, they are compared with them. I really want to tell them. I might have a chance to go to REI. But I'm afraid I wouldn't get it at that time. They will be disappointed. Long wait. Finally, the results. Come to knock on my house early that day. Today's results. I'm here to check with you. I insist to check him first. He is too good. Stabilize the score that is high above. There should not be a problem. Now you. Rolling is more nervous than me. It is wrong to say that the admission ticket number is wrong. After 2 results come out. He rubbed his eyes and couldn't believe 5005. He checked it again. It's really 580-5. Everyone was stunned. Because I have never taken such a good grade because of the simulation test. I'm sorry. I did a few simulation questions before the exam. It was really coincidental. Several big questions were not very different from the college entrance examination. At that time, I was casually drawn from a pile of paper, purely for psychological comfort. The parents were so happy that they couldn't close. To sum up, this is my good life. According to the scoreline of the years, my score is 985, which is a great event. My mother still wished before going to the ferry, and naturally she had to go to the ancestral grave to burn the paper money again, thanks to their spirit in heaven. So I was admitted to a good university, and the whole village knew. I have to be convinced, I just have a good life. To do it according to the rules, thank the folks for a good table. The biological mother also came. She really met the ghost. She actually carried 2 chickens and 30 eggs, saying that she would make up for me. She is old, a lot of wrinkles with a smile. It was my biological mother who had not had a good condition at that time. How could I give you to others? I have no way, my daughter will be good to you, so I am willing to give you away. In fact, in these years, I have been thinking about you in my heart. You see you entering college, Mom is so happy. Mom knows that you must go, but your mother's daughter is so smart. Taking a big belly to my mother, I was carrying Xiaoning's parents. In the end, it is your biological parents, and you should not do so well. Xinbao did not go to high school and studied in a vocational school. Now, after graduating from the flow line, he ran back less than a month and couldn't eat that suffering. This is a time to play games with Fox Peng and dog friends. At this moment, my mother took my hand and said, "Your brother rely on you, you must pull him with your sister." Now getting a house in the city, I heard that college students can go out to work hard, and earn thousands of people. In the past 4 years, you can save money and strive to get a house for your brother early. I listened to the buzzing brain, but some people followed. After asking me to fly Huangtingda, don't forget the biological father and mother. After all, they brought me this world. That's how the countryside is. Some people see you earn 100,000 yuan, which is 100,000 more uncomfortable than him. If someone sees you good, he can't wait to ask you to drag down fiercely and pull to the same situation as them. I stood up and pointed to the ground, saying that I only had one pair of parents. Since you sent me away at the time, don't want to throw me back now. I really want to remember me for so many years. How can I buy me some food and eat? Now that I am admitted to college, you will pick fruit, and the abacus beads collapse my face. I was silent in my room, and I didn't expect me to say so straight. I am not afraid. When I graduate from college, I will go far away. I will not destroy this ravine in the future. My biological mother burst into tears, crying that it was not easy, saying that she really loved me. I stared at her and said, "Okay, then you come out for 4 years of tuition and living expenses in college." She immediately took care of him. I said one by one, "If I respect you, what about my parents? They are good to me for so many years, wouldn't they feed dogs?" The biological mother pointed at my nose and scolded my biological father, and picked up the bench to fight. My mother and the third brother guarded me behind, and a good banquet was chaotic. In the end, the old secretary of the white hair appeared on a cane. He stared at his parents and said that people still have to face in the world. This is the evil that your husband and wife do it yourself. Don't think about the benefits now. He just wants to see my good boy, you hit blessings, and their husbands and wives can't stand it. The parents left without eating. When they left, the biological mother took away chickens and eggs. The elder sister disagrees with your life. How can you be so ruthless? We are your family, and you should help your brother. He is about the same age as his elder brother, but he seems to be more than 10 years old. He grows more and more like his biological mother when he was a child. It was printed in a mold. I looked at his stomach and smiled, hoping that you would have a son as you wished this time. After this time, my mother was tired, and my dad said that it was difficult to leave the homeland, but I didn't want to return this country in the country. Dad did not go back together this time because of work. After listening to things, I put down the tableware and said, "So I will return less after that, and I don't want to go back to deal with these people. I really want to report to a university in a city." "What jokes, do you have to go to Tsinghua University of Peking University with such a high score?" I was scolded by me. After several times, I finally finished the school surrounding the school around Beijing. I want to pay tuition fees for loans. My parents and brothers have reprimanded it. Mom not only paid me tuition, but also gave me 25,500 living expenses every month. Go out, don't lose yourself, don't do anything wrong because of money. The elder brother has a salary at work, and the shopping cart will be emptied every 3 differences. The second brother laboratory has subsidies and bought me a tablet. He was busy learning, but he came to me every other week. Sometimes watching a movie together for a meal together, he hurried back. I want him not to run like this, but he doesn't listen. The roommates said that he liked me. What jokes. We are brothers and sisters who grew up together. In the sophomore year, the chairman of the student union in the hospital chased me. I am below the text of the article after correction. It's also a person, I have been with her. She was red eyes, but I always remembered, you can't speak, not counting. But we all grew up. He looked at me, so do you want to leave me to accompany others? Did you eat it? I was chaotic in my heart, and he was panicked by him. He suddenly reached out and pulled me into his arms, hugging me tightly. You are ordered to be my girlfriend, let's get together for a lifetime. I have all the rivers and lakes in my mind, as if something is wrong. But I looked at him poorly, and I couldn't say anything. Always confused, we are together. The student council was very unconvinced, and he rested until he saw it. When it comes to mind, looks, and family, it is indeed even better. I was in love like this, as if it was nothing different from before, it was more sticky than before. There is also every time I go home on vacation. I will be guilty before Lu Yi, as if I stole his baby. We talked about the whole year before Christmas. The KISS roommates listened to the news and were moved to cry, saying that the two of us finally opened up. After getting close, I seem to have changed the rolling feelings. He is no longer the brother who tied with the 3 brothers, but a special man. I only know the 3rd brother and I am in love with rolling. He was worried about it, and he was very good. I also believe that he is sincere with you, but the gap between you and him is a bit big. Everyone is adult and thinks from the perspective of adults. Uncle Joe is in his duty. Louis is also the leader of the unit. He is a high student of Tsinghua University. My mother is an elementary school teacher, my father is the head of the security guard, and I am just an ordinary 985 college student. Everything is different from childhood. In fact, what I know is like ostrich, pretending to be visible. But what should come will always come. In my senior winter vacation, Louis invited our family to eat. On the seat, he mentioned that Uncle Joe's daughter was about to return from abroad, which is similar to the age. I have his WeChat, I will push you for you, you will talk to people. Uncle Joe's classmate plants are similar to Uncle Joe. The girl graduated from a famous foreign school. Louis also flipped her photos and looked better than me. Whether it is a family, education or appearance, it is better than me. At that moment, my heart was cold and my heart broke up quickly with me. At this time, I spoke, no need. I have a girlfriend. He calmly took my hand, and I fell in love with NINI for more than 2 years. I thought they would be stunned. I didn't expect Louis to smile. He took the phone back. He finally was willing to say it. Don't stimulate that you will always hide it. Why are you afraid that we disagree with you? At that time, you had to report to a school in a city with Minming at that time, and I knew what the ghost idea you hit. Lu Yiba Baba kept talking, and I stayed. My mother looked at me, crying and laughing. We are all over, and you haven't come to you all the time, thinking that we are blind. It turned out that they knew long ago, but they did not pierce our acting. I cried out with a wow, and my life was so good. I was admitted to their graduate students, and I was also admitted to graduate students. Why wasn't it that I couldn't turn me? Just a candidate in front of me was admitted to the civil servant. If she didn't come, I put me up. I followed a mentor who just brought students. I was a disciple of the mountain. Everything was a hand-to-hand, and I often repaid me in the middle of the night. It can be said that the ideal mentor on earth. Half a year later, the instructor applied for a project. The originally hoped result, the country suddenly came out of the policy. Our research direction became popular, and we allocated a lot of funds. When the 2 of us who were connected to the younger brother, when I brought me to graduation, we actually took out decent results. It was this project that made me read, and finally went to college as a teacher. Life is really amazing. You must know that when I was lucky at first, the college that was lucky and the college entrance examination was often used to go to the university. Now I actually hold the textbook for the college students. I feel that it is false. During the PhD, I was married. The wedding was relatively low-key. My mother-in-law prepared a house and car for us. My mother insisted on giving me a card with 800,000 inside. I know that rolling will be good to you, but this is the love of parents. No matter how high his house is, you must always remember that you are Wang Jia's daughter. My mother touched my head with tears. If you are wronged one day, your parents and brothers will always support you. A few days after the wedding, the biological father and mother's family touched my school. I don't know where to give pointers. I cried at the door of my laboratory, saying that I was no heart and filial piety. Even the biological parents did not recognize it, and it attracted a lot of people to shoot videos. They cried with passers-by, how miserable it was, and quickly fermented on the short video website, and my information was dug out. My father-in-law wants to make people overwhelm. I don't need to, the more discussing it. I do right, I believe that netizens will distinguish between right and wrong. I have not been the little girl who had a shrinking girl at first. In recent years, why not go to the court to sue me in the past few years? Instead, public opinion quickly falls down. Fried out a lot of girls who were sent away. Actually, that's not just my tragedy alone. Is a tragedy of a generation of girls. The parents' family was half dead by netizens. Everyone advises Jean Bao's girlfriend not to jump fire. Their family really can't get a lottery gift. Finally, the girl removed the child and broke up with Jean Bao. Since then, their family completely stopped. Never make cashews again. 5 years of marriage. I am not pregnant. Although the mother-in-law's mouth doesn't say. But we urge us every year to go to the physical examination. And I will take me to see the old Chinese medicine of the ancestors. Seeing getting older. My mother-in-law said that she should do a test too. Just a few days after she finished saying this, my aunt stopped. Go to the hospital for a look. And the twin dragon and phoenix tire. On the day of the child was born. Father-in-law is promoted again. It's the position she has always wanted. She finally retired at this position. It can be described as double happiness. Therefore, my father-in-law likes these children. It is said that they brought the duty. The mother-in-law is at the age of retirement. At that time, she didn't have time to bring a roller. Now I have time to bring a pair of children. There are 2 parenting crickets. Another mother-in-law looked at me. However, there are a lot of life-saving children as young as older children. Instead, I look better. Roll. After graduating from graduate students, I entered the enterprise for research and development. The father-in-law actually wants her to enter the officialdom. After all, so many years. She has accumulated a lot of connections. The rolling stick is not smooth enough. I also support her into the company. Can better play the strengths. His ability will be exposed quickly. Unbelievable. The road and position are getting higher and higher. Years. He encountered a lot of fox essence. Those fox essence really looks good. Some are still capable. I am much stronger than flattering. But she has never been confused. I asked him why he was not tempted. He said, because he is just my little dumb. In fact, he goes high and farther away. Deep in her heart, there is still a panic little dumb. And that little dumb will only feel at ease when he sees me. I think I must be my god-friendly girlfriend Xia fan. That's why she cares so much. I have funded many children in mountainous areas. Especially girls. I know that girls in this world always have to be more difficult to survive. Mom and dad used to be my light. Now let me do the micro-light of those bitter children, right? May them be like me. Light all the way. The accompanying road is getting wider and wider. Full text. Not enter the tiger's hole. Beard. East Palace is countless.